transitions, as most of you know, we are currently in a season of launching. We are getting ready to move to our permanent home, which is right next door, and it is coming really, really quickly. And so James and I want to take a few minutes this morning and give you just a little bit more of an update about where we are. And so like I said, this is launch season. Launching this building is not an event that's going to take place this summer. Launching is a season from now to the end of this year where we are focusing all of our attention and efforts on using this building as such an incredible opportunity to welcome our community into our church. This is going to be a great opportunity to see so many more new people as we have worked so hard to build space so that we can continue to grow. And so I know for many of you, you've been hearing us for weeks now talking about this launch season, talking about the launch team. And so if you have not yet joined the launch team is everyone who's saying, I am going to be part of this. I want to volunteer somewhere in some capacity between now and the end of the year. And so whether that's kids or students or our guest services team, helping with parking, there's so many places. But we've been asking y'all to just let us know, I want to be part of the launch team, so that we can then follow up with you and help you find your spot. And then the other big piece with that is that along with joining the launch team, today at 5 and tomorrow at 7 p.m., we are doing launch team parties. It is not too late for you to sign up, but we're doing launch team parties at the building. So this is your opportunity to see it, to take a tour of it, and also for us to share with you some really cool stuff about what's going to happen in the coming months. So we really want you to be part of that. If you haven't joined the launch team yet, please do. You can hit that right on our app. There's a button, or just go to hellosummerville.com. There's a button to join the launch team, and there's a button to let us know you're coming to one of those parties so that we can have your t-shirt ready. Tonight at the party, there's going to be some pizza and some water, but most importantly, we want you to see it and experience all of that. And so we're super excited.
Yep, very excited. And so we're coming up even more so on this period of transition. So one of the big things, we're going to let you know two big things today. Here's the first. The first one is our Celebration Sunday, where we're going to be kind of finishing up our time here, celebrating, looking back on all that God's done. We're going to have lots of special stuff planned for that day. We're going to invite back anyone who's ever been a part of that journey. We really want you to be here. And that's going to be on June 29th. June 29th, which is the last Sunday in June. We're going to be right here at 10 o'clock, kind of wrapping up our time here together. Big celebration. You really, please be here for that. It's going to be really incredible.
Yeah.
The school, some of our partners from the school and the district are going to be here. It's going to be a big, big deal. Yep.
Yeah, super excited. All right, James, you want to give them the building update?
Okay, so building update. And while I'm talking, Jake's going to put some pictures up. So there's been lots of interior painting going on. This is the first time in the last week when we were there that we've seen the worship space with paint. And they're finishing up. They're not done painting in there, but it's looking really good. Ceiling grids are going in the family ministry space. Lights are going in all these different places. And the biggest news is that the Dominion finally set the transformer. The rain has kind of messed up some of the site work lately, but they got the transformer set, and they're pulling secondary power. The plan is to have the inspection done, to have the power turned on to the building for the first time on Tuesday. So
you can pray on that.
Pray for that,
pray
please.
For that, yeah.
Pray for that, please, because with any construction project, that's a cascade of events, right? We can't turn the air conditioners on until the power works. So if we can't turn the air conditioners on, then that means we can't put anything wood in the building. No cabinets, no trim, all that stuff. So the air's got to get turned on after the power comes in. We've got to let the space dehumidify some. They're going to start the trim work. They can't start the flooring work, all that kind of stuff. There's plenty going on right now. In fact, our AVL installers are going to be on site for the first time tomorrow, starting to run all the infrastructure for that. Things are happening so quickly that every time we go, we can't keep up with the videos. And so the pictures do not do it justice. That's why it's so important for you to attend one of these launch parties today at 5, tomorrow at 7. So that you can see these spaces, walk through these spaces, and just it changes things when it's real and you're in it instead of looking at pictures. There's so much going on. The painting on the exterior is finished. Drywall is pretty much wrapped up. It's all paint, lights, above ceiling inspections, fire sprinklers are in. There's a whole lot of, on the tour, if you're there, you're going to see the IT closet, which has literally thousands of cables coming into it.
James gets so excited.
It's so
Every time
great.
we pass the IT closet, he's like,
You're
"Look at all
excited
that
too
Cat
because
6."
your internet's going to be gigabyte speed in the new building, and you're going to love it. But there's lots of cool stuff going on, and we want you to see it today. All of the windows, the glazing is done. They're working on the canopy. The big prayer is, though, we need the rain to have calmed down because the site work guys are getting behind. They were able to put in some of the curbing, but it's slowing down the work outside of the building and making it kind of muddy. So if you could pray for some dry weather. I think the site's going to be good today because we've had a couple of days of dry. So
wear closed-toed shoes just because we don't want you to get hurt in any way, but it's pretty dry out there right now.
Yep. Closed-toed shoes, long pants. Check your email. You got an email from me this morning if you're coming to a launch party tonight. But yeah, we've got more.
Which is awesome. So much progress, so much excitement. Here's the other side I want to share with you, and it is the financial aspect. And most of you, if you're on any of our mailing lists or our email lists, then you'll recall a month ago, just over 30 days ago, at the end of April, I sent out a letter and also an email, and I shared with you that we were in about spitting distance of the last 10% financially of this project, which amounted to $1.3 million. We needed $1.3 million to get through the end of this project. We've been paying as we go. We have a construction loan covering part of it, but we have been paying for a lot of this in process. It's extraordinary how much we have already done and paid for in this project, but we were at that $1.3 million. And so I told you guys that. I shared that with you. I said, this is a big deal. And I asked you a critical question. And the question was, what would you love to give the church that you love? What would you like to be able to give to the church that you love? And it was a very intentional question because what I didn't ask was, what can you give? Right? Because that stops all of us short. But I wanted you to take a minute with God and with your family to think through, what would you like to be able to give to the church that you love to help us get there? Because this is such a big deal, an incredible opportunity to be part of building a church that for generations to come is going to be here to point people to the hope we have in Jesus. Jesus said the church was going to be the embodiment of him in this world, and we are building this together. Well, I want to tell you guys, in the last 30 days, you responded, because in the last 30 days alone, we received over $525,000, which is extraordinary. Y'all, I remember the days when that was more than our whole budget for the year. Like, that is extraordinary. We had a handful of families, and I get emotional just thinking about it, that leaned in big with us, that have been able to give some significant sums of money, and then we've also seen every bit, every piece makes a difference, from that $50 gift, that $500 gift, but we've seen $25,000 gifts, and we've seen $50,000 gifts, and in a couple weeks, we have our first six-figure gift on its way in, which I just think God is making a way that none of us could have made on our own. So between what has come in, and not all of that goes to the building, that's all of what's come in, so that includes some of our operating budget money, and so our operating budget is about $60,000 a month. So between that and the fact that we got great news this week that the bank is going to give us another $250,000 in a line of credit that can go into that 1.3 picture, and what we are left with, okay, this is big. This is what I need you to hear from me today. What we are left with is the last $400,000. The last 400. The last 400,000. And we've got these next couple of months, these next 2 to 3 months, to see if we can't get all the way finished financially with this project. And so what I want to say to you today is, we do need you. We need you. If this is your church, if this is not your church and you're visiting, welcome. We're so glad you're here. We can't wait for you to see our building. But for those of you, if this is your church, then we need you. If you haven't yet been able to be part of this, then let me tell you, any amount, it does make such a big difference, especially because we have had so many families that have gone big and done what they can do, and now we just need everybody to pull on that rope and get us to the end. We are so close, and I've been telling our staff and our leadership in this last week, I think there was part of me that expected when we started this project that at some point along the way, we were going to be able to account for all the money we needed. That was cute, Jen. Like, I just thought at some point it would make sense on paper. And instead, at every point, God has said, trust me, keep walking. And we have kept walking. And at every point along the way, we have had what we have needed to take the next step. And so the story of this project is going to be that we kept going, and God is so incredibly faithful. And so I want to invite you and ask you to continue to be part of us. We're so close, and I'm so grateful for everything that y'all are giving. All right, we've got one more kind of super big piece of the puzzle that we want to share with you today.
Yep. Okay. It's the first time I've said these things out loud, so I'm a little nervous.
I know, he's scared. We're both a little scared to
Not
say it
as
out
nervous
loud.
as our GC has been.
Yeah,
every time we have this conversation.
Jay, if you're watching online, turn it off for just a minute.
They've given us their blessing to announce this, and what I'm about to tell you is our grand opening date. Are you ready? Our grand opening date for the building, September 7th, 2025.
September 7th.
Yeah. So, this is our grand opening day. This is not the first Sunday that we will be in the building because we need some practice. The other thing you'll notice up there is our new service times, 9 and 10:45. Going to 2 services, 9 o'clock, 10:45. Kids at both, students at both. Grand opening, the day we invite the mayor and cut the giant ribbon and have little pedophores from Publix.
Oh my gosh. I don't know that there's going to be pedophores, but like James
you can,
needs
you know,
pedophores.
a guy can hope.
You know?
So September 7th, this is a big deal. We've never said this before. Stay with us. We're going to be in the building worshiping in August. We just are not sure what that date's going to look like yet. And we've got a schedule laid out for the summer once we hit June 29th and beyond. We're going to tell you more about that, not today.
We're
but please,
still going to see you.
Yeah, but please write this down, mark this on your calendar, and then know we'll be in before this. But this is the date that we can tell you when the mayor's going to come.
I hope he's in town. I mean, we didn't talk, you know. Tell everyone you know, though. Y'all, we're so excited. So, yeah, we've got this. We've got pieces that are still moving timeline and how July and August are going to play out. But September 7th is going to be the grand opening. But, y'all, this is big. God is faithful. It's why we get together to worship every single week. Because no matter where we are, no matter what we're carrying, no matter what we're having to trust him more with this week, we come together and we put our eyes on him. And we say, even when we can't feel it and even when we can't see it, our story is that you are a God who is faithful.